Carlos Victor is a 62-year-old man. His story is like a cinematic film where every character in the story can be suspected, and in the end, there's a huge surprise. The surprise is not only about the perpetrator, but also the reason that led to the crime. And in the end, all of this happened because of just 25 cents. We are about to hear one of the strangest cases in the entire story. In 2016, Carlos Victor lived in his apartment in Milan. He was a wealthy man who owned numerous properties. He had been married twice. His first wife lived in her hometown in Sicily, and his second wife lived near him in Milan. But they had been separated for more than a year. Despite the separation, he maintained a good relationship with her because their children still lived together in the same apartment. Carlos was keen on managing his properties and money, both in Sicily and Milan, and he didn't trust anyone with his finances, which led to constant conflicts with his family. His relationship with the neighbors in Milan was very good. They knew he was a respectable man, although somewhat stingy, but some also knew he wasn't really stingy, but rather cautious with the money he had earned through hard work. His eldest daughter from his first wife was the closest to him, and they communicated daily. He often shared his problems with her, and she took his advice on every decision. One day, Carlos was talking to his daughter on the phone at 8 p.m., where he told her he would need to wake up early the next day to attend to some business matters. He mentioned withdrawing a large sum of money and placing it in his apartment in preparation for purchasing a new property near Milan. They ended the call normally, but the next day, his daughter didn't hear from him as usual. At 10 a.m., when she tried to contact him, it seemed unusual that he hadn't answered. Especially since he was known for waking up early to pray, she began to worry and contacted the building's doorman, but he told her he hadn't seen her father that day. She then reached out to her ex-wife, who agreed to help and go to the apartment to check on him. Upon arriving at the apartment, they noticed there was no response from inside. They tried calling him several times without success. They decided to enter through the courtyard, but they couldn't reach him. After several attempts, they contacted his ex-wife again, and she remembered a secret place where he hid the spare keys. They went to that spot and managed to enter the apartment. Once inside, they discovered blood on the floor, and traces of blood led from the door to the kitchen. They continued searching and reached the bathroom, where they found the body. Carlos had been brutally killed, and his body was found in the bathroom. The neighbors and bystanders quickly gathered, and the police were notified about the incident. The police and the forensic team arrived and began collecting evidence from the crime scene. It was noted that Carlos had been killed recently, having suffered multiple stab wounds in different areas of the apartment. There was also a locked safe in the bedroom, but the key and phones were missing, raising suspicion that the crime was well planned. After searching the apartment, it became clear that Carlos had a large amount of money in the safe, but there were no signs of anyone else being present. The body was sent for autopsy, and investigations began with all the suspects. After gathering information and conducting inquiries, they started investigating the neighbors. One of the people who raised suspicion was the Lopez family, who lived in the same building. Their son Matias, age 22, was struggling financially and had broken up with his fiancée due to financial problems. The police began investigating the Lopez family, and they discovered that their son was in a very tough financial situation. When they searched his room, they found a pair of pants with blood stains, confirming his connection to the crime. Forensic tests confirmed that the blood matched Carlos's blood type. Matias confessed that he had killed Carlos in an attempt to steal his money. He had planned the crime carefully, waiting until 7 a.m. on the designated day, then entered the apartment and attacked Carlos with a knife. After ensuring his death, he placed the body in the bathroom and tried to mask the smell with water and bleach. Failing to find the money, he took the car keys and mobile phones, but couldn't steal anything else. In the end, Matias was arrested and sentenced to death, and everyone discovered that the crime had been committed over a very small amount of money.